Ryan Whiting with Paddle TV with yet another in-depth, unbiased gear review. And in this review, I am testing, well, this is the Sea Eagle 300X, or Explorer. It's part of Sea Eagle's Explorer line of inflatable kayaks. Now, I've actually reviewed another one of the Explorer kayaks, the 380X, which is a bigger version of this. The 380X is a kayak that's designed for 1 to 2 paddlers, whereas the 300X is exclusively for a single paddler. It's about 2.5 feet shorter. This is Sea Eagle's all-round most versatile inflatable kayak. It's designed for flatwater paddling, for kayak camping, for running rivers, for up to class 4 whitewater, they say. This is a kayak that can do it all. And that's what I'm here to test and let you know, does it do it all? And is it good value? And so let's dive right into it. The Sea Eagle 300X has packages starting at $800 US, and it comes with a paddle, pump, repair kit, and bag. It's 10 feet long, 39 inches wide. It weighs 31 pounds or 14 kilos, and it has a capacity of 395 pounds or 180 kilos. Its primary use, well, it's for all conditions: flat water, whitewater, ocean surf, fishing, you name it. The 300X features 16 floor drains to make it self-bailing. It has a reinforced fabric floor. It comes with a seat, a large removable skeg, carry handles, 18 D-rings to secure the seat and gear. It has a drop stitch floor, 3 main air chambers for safety, and a 3-year warranty. Well, I love it when companies say that their kayaks are designed for all conditions, because that means, well, that's really my excuse to take it into all sorts of conditions. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna test this kayak out, see if it does what it says it does, try it on flat water, see how it performs there, but then take it into some whitewater. And so let's get to it. Well, that was a cool day for a whitewater test. It's still spring here. The water is cold, definitely dry suit weather, but that was fun. Here's what I learned about the Sea Eagle 300X. And let's start, like I always do, with portability. Now, this thing is 31 pounds. That is not a heavy kayak. For a 10-foot kayak, hard shell kayaks, you can expect to be quite a bit heavier than this, at least 10 to 20 pounds even heavier than this. 31 pounds is nice to get around, very portable. How quick was it to blow up? Well, there's 3 chambers, it's only 10 feet long, it's not a big boat, and so it didn't take that long. The the side tubes pump up to 3 PSI roughly, so they take even less time than the floor, which is drop stitch, which means you can pump it up much harder. It's much more rigid. That gives you better performance, which I'll talk about because it did. It takes a bit more to pump that up. Like I always do, I used an electric pump, because when you pump up inflatables a lot, it really is nice to have an electric pump. But if you didn't have one, if you use the pump it came with, we're literally talking minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. Now, stability. This thing is 39 inches. That's very wide for a kayak. It's not the widest kayak out there necessarily, but it's one of the wider kayaks out there. What you get with width is stability. This is a wide kayak, very wide kayak, and it is very stable. I mean, on flat water, you would actually be hard pressed to flip this kayak, because you're gonna fall out of this kayak trying to flip it before you actually flip this kayak. You're gonna have to pull it over with you to flip this thing. In whitewater, very stable. Of course, with current, you could flip it more easily, but high marks for stability. Now, jumping right to performance, let's talk about performance flat water, and then let's talk about performance in the whitewater. So flat water wise, it's a 10-foot kayak. No 10-foot kayak is designed for speed. And this kayak is like any other 10-foot kayak, it's not designed for speed. The fact that it's 39 inches wide, it's a wide kayak, just further emphasizes that this kayak was designed first for stability. Speed was an afterthought. Well, not a complete afterthought. That's not fair to say. It does have a drop stitch floor. You pump up to 10 PSI, and so it's got the rigidity, so you don't feel like you're paddling in an amoeba. That really, it does have a good hard feel to it. So that's nice. With the fin, the large removable fin on this kayak, when you have it in the boat, it's surprising how well this thing tracks. It does a really good job. Even when I stopped paddling, this boat continued to glide in a very straight line. You take that fin off, I paddled around a bit without it, and it's every stroke you take, it's turning the kayak a lot. You stop paddling and the kayak just spins out. That's what you expect with a flat-bottomed, wide kayak. Now let's talk about how it did in the whitewater. As expected, super stable. I think of this thing as like a four-wheel drive of kayaks in the whitewater. It's designed to get through waves and rapids very easily for someone who doesn't even have a lot of experience in whitewater. And that's what it does. Very forgiving boat, confidence, inspiring. Now they say it's good for up to class 4 whitewater. Personally, I think that's a little bit of a stretch. I wouldn't take this into class 4 whitewater, not because I don't trust its durability. I think as long as you don't ram it into sharp rocks, this thing is going to be remarkably durable. It's more because it doesn't have the outfitting. It doesn't have foot braces and it doesn't have thigh hooks, so that I'm really attached to the boat and I have really good control over the boat. Without them, I'm just sitting on top of it, and I could fall out. When I lean my body, I'm just leaning my body. I'm not pulling that edge of the kayak up with me. And I compare it to, this is like wearing flip-flops versus wearing a good trail shoe, something that wraps around your foot and provides really good control. That's why I wouldn't take this into class 4 whitewater. I just don't feel like I'd have the control to be able to get through without swimming. I hate swimming, and I hate swimming class 4 whitewater. So up to class 3 whitewater, absolutely, depending on your skill level, of course. Now, durability, Sea Eagle has been making inflatable kayaks for 56 years. They've figured things out, and that's why they have 3-year warranties on all their inflatable kayaks, because they trust, they know what they're doing. That being said, for what this Explorer series and the 300X is designed for doing, which is pretty much anything, including whitewater up to class 3, I definitely would trust this thing. Like any inflatable kayak, you can't abuse it, but you can definitely use this thing with confidence. It has the reinforced fabric floor, so a rock, a sharp object would have to go through 2 layers. It'd have to go through the floor and then through the drop stitch floor after that. And you would have to hit something sharp and really hard to do that. So I have no questions about this thing's durability. Now, value. Sea Eagle in general provides pretty exceptional value. This kayak the packages start at $800, and I think they go up to maybe around $1,000. And it depends on whether you want to upgrade the seat. This is a small upgrade, this seat. Definitely worth doing if you're going to take it into whitewater. Not a very expensive upgrade, but more so it's upgrading the paddle. You can get better paddles that come with this, but regardless, $800 for a well-made, durable kayak like this that comes with pump, paddle, even a repair kit. All you really need if you're in a warm environment is a PFD. That's all you need to buy on top of this. And so when you compare the cost of this thing to the cost of other boats, you have to take into account the fact that it comes with a paddle. because not all inflatables do. And some do, some don't, and most don't come with paddles. So I think it's exceptional value for what you get if this is the type of kayak that you're after. If it's not the kind of kayak you're after, then of course it's not great value. So that brings us to the last question, which is who is the 300X for? Well, very simply, this kayak is not for somebody who wants a flat water kayak that they can cover some real ground with. You don't get this kayak for that purpose. You get this kayak if you want a stable kayak, a durable kayak, and a versatile kayak, a kayak that you can paddle around in flat water, but you can also go kayak camping with, fishing with, you can run rivers with it, run some rapids with it, and whether you're a beginner or even quite an experienced paddler, you can have a lot of fun in this kayak for many years and not feel like you've grown out of it. So there you go. I hope you guys have enjoyed this review of the Seagull 300X. I enjoyed getting out on the water this early in the spring and taking her for a test drive. Please leave a comment down below. Share your experience with the 300X or any of the Explorer kayaks if you have one of these boats and have experience with them. Or even if you have opinions, then share them below. Otherwise, stay tuned. Lots more paddling tips, paddling gear reviews, and paddling adventures coming your way.